Magkasama, magkakapi, sa hamon ng buhay, di ba magkakilala? Ako ang iyong kasamang kaibigan, sa ating kapapapayaan. Magkasama tayo, magkasama, magkakapi, magkasama, magkakapi.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ng pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto great, miracle fruit, very weekend, at ang pinakabago, liver food. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa tayo. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashen, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Ginauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Blu-ray. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na! Magandang umaga po, mga kasangga, kakampi, kapanali, kaibigan. Andito naman po tayo, ang inyong Kuya Dong. Paghahatid po ng Daily Dose of News sa FSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Naghahatid po ng mga nagbabagang balita at kaganapan sa loob at labas ng ating bansa sa loob lamang po ng 30 minutos. Siyempre po, best effort. Pero bago natin simulan ng ating pagbabalita, samahan po muna niyo ako sa isang maikling panalangin para maganda po ang ating simula sa araw na ito. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ang kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, naming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Good morning po! It's May 19, 2023. Biyernes, araw po ng Biyernes. Nakatapos na naman po tayo ng isang linggo. Para sa mga nagtatrabaho dyan, siyempre looking forward to a restful week ahead of us. Di po ba? Bago ko po ihatid yung mga balita, SB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. And for our top news for today, May 19, 2023, Friday. Five others included in case versus Tevez. Report from Neil Jason Cervallos for the Philippine Star. Five people allegedly involved in the recent attack that killed Negros Oriental Governor Ruel Digamo and nine others last March 4 were included in the multiple murder charges filed last Wednesday against suspended Congressman Arnolfo Teves Jr. However, the Department of Justice kept their identities under wraps since the rights of the accused need to be respected at this time, according to DOJ Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla. Senior Deputy State Prosecutor Richard Anthony Padullon also confirmed that at least five suspects were named as co-respondents in the investigation data form filed by the National Bureau of Investigation. They, along with Teves, are facing 10 counts of murder, 14 counts of frustrated murder, 4 counts of attempted murder under the revised penal code. Murder is a non-bailable offense. The basis of the charges were the affidavits of suspects and other evidence of the NBI. The NBI has been on this case for the last 2 months. They know what they're doing, and I can assure you of that. Remulla told reporters late Wednesday. The complainants in the case were widows of slain government officials and others killed in March 4 attack, including the slain governor's widow, Pamplona Mayor Janice Degamo. Back in March, the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group filed charges against Teves and 5 of his alleged associates for 3 murders that happened in 2019. Teves' co-accused in those cases were his secretary identified only as Hannah May, Richard Cuadra, Jasper Tenasan, and Rolando Pinili and Alex Mayagma. Lawyer Levito Baligon, who represented the victims' families, said they were the assassination teams of the congressman. Later, prosecutors filed multiple counts of murder and frustrated murder charges before Negros Oriental courts against Marvin Miranda, Rogelio Antipolo Jr., Romel Petaguan, Winrich Historis, John Louis Gognon, Daniel Lora, Eulogio Gognon Jr., all gunmen in the commando-style attack on Tegamo's residence in Pamplona. The Supreme Court has since approved the DOJ's request to have the trial of the 7 accused suspects moved to the Manila Regional Trial Court. The DOJ had previously named at least 10 suspects in the case, also known as the Pamplona Massacre, and revealed that several of them had pinpointed Teves as their boss and mastermind after they were arrested. Teves left the country 4 days before the attack, which was carried out while Digamo was leading a distribution activity for his constituents. Consequently, dozens were wounded, including Capitol officials. Teves on returning, I don't feel safe. Meanwhile, Tevez expressed concerns about his safety and his reluctance to return to the country now that new murder charges have been filed against him. I don't feel safe going home, he said in an interview over CNN Philippines yesterday. I don't understand why they are so hell-bent on bringing my body home. Guilty of what? What flight? During the interview, Tevez mentioned undergoing a stem cell operation in the United States as the reason for his leaving the country and cited grave threats as the reason for not returning home. I just don't want to go home because of threats to my life, he said. Remulla had earlier told media that Tevez was due to return last Wednesday, the day when the NBI filed the charges against him for allegedly masterminding the March 4 attack. But the lawmaker said it was fake news. Tevez's counsel, Ferdinand Topacio, criticized Remulla, saying, to announce that someone is on his way back without any verification at all, I think, is the height of irresponsibility. Topacio added that due to threats to his life, Tevez has no reason to come home just yet. Through diplomatic channels, the DOJ confirmed last week that Tevez was seeking asylum in Timor-Leste, but it was turned down. In a television interview, Tevez neither confirmed nor denied his application for political asylum in Timor-Leste. I refuse to comment on that. I neither deny nor confirm that. You asked Boeing, Remulla's nickname, because he knows too much, he said. DOJ said, right, gunman. Meanwhile, Balikod, who is also the lawyer of the widows of the slain victims in the March 4 bloodbath, said a former DOJ undersecretary has been peddling bribes to the gunman under NBI custody to prevent them from cooperating in the investigation and prosecution of the case. A certain high-ranking official of the Department of Justice with the rank of undersecretary is working with some jail guards at the NBI detention facility, and they're offering hush money to the detainees so they would not cooperate with the government. Baligot said in an interview aired over CNN Philippines. Baligot did not name the former official nor the detainees, but said the lawyers of the gunman had retained the ex-undersecretary's services. Additional report from Delon Porcalia. Lawmaker tags onion cartel firm, Sibuyas Queen. Report from Delon Porcalia for the Philippine Star. Marikina Rep Stella Louise Kimbo has unmasked the company and its owner believed behind the record high prices of onions that reached 720 pesos per kilo in late 2022, along with other firms that conspired in creating an artificial shortage. Kimbo said Phil Viva, or Vegetable Exporters and Vendors Association Philippines Incorporated, group of companies owned by Lilia or Lea Cruz, was the main player in the onion cartel. In short, Phil Viva wields full control over all the companies involved in the onion industry, from the start in the whole supply chain, which is farming, and all the way up to the end, which is retail. Kimbo said during a hearing of the House Committee on Agriculture and Food on Wednesday. Its incorporators are corporations that are involved in local trading, importation, cold storage warehousing, and trucking. Its majority owner who appears to be Lilia or Leia Cruz, also described the corporation as involved in the farming of vegetables, she added. The panel, headed by Quezon Rep. Mark and Verga, discovered that the links were in the general information sheets in each of the PhilViva incorporators. Kimbo said that when the shares of Cruz, along with her husband and nephews, are combined, this automatically make Leia as the firm's majority stockholder. Cruz reportedly owns trucking business Golden Shine, a PhilViva stockholder. Stockholders Renato Francisco, Eric Pambilona, both own 2.96% shares in Cruz's company. Francisco is the biggest stockholder in Yom Trading and La Reina, a major onion importer in the country. Babilona is the biggest stockholder in Tianlong, the largest cold storage used for onions. Kimbo revealed the contact number of Golden Shine appeared in the documents of Vegeflu and Rosal, two companies of Le Cruz that are also linked in the onion industry. Kimbo said the importers linked to Cruz bagged 68% of the total imports for yellow onion and 50% of imported red onion. Because Phildiva has several dummy companies, Lea Cruz can easily dictate the prices of onions in the market or wherever she wants to dump the supply, whether it be in Divisoria or in supermarkets, she said. Aside from cornering a large volume of import permits, Kimbo said Cruz could control the local farm gate price of onions because she owns the big cold storage and reservations can also be done for more spaces in the cold storage facility. And because there are no available cold storage facilities, Kimbo said farmers were forced to sell their harvest at low prices. The withdrawal of onions from cold storage facilities is also being controlled. Meanwhile, the price of onions in cold storage facilities range between 105 and 120 per kilo only, but retail prices in local markets have gone up excessively, according to an onion farmers cooperative based in Nueva Ecija. Valiant Cooperative President Luchi Sena said the cold storage facilities being run by onion farmers remain full. We have so many stocks of onions in cold storages, Sena said, adding that farmers are earning from the current selling prices of onions in cold storage facilities. There is a drop in the trading, as according to the buyers, there is a decline in demand, she added. Sena said there is no reason for the retail price of onions to spike to 700 per kilo amid the low buying price at cold storage. The increase can be attributed to the number of hands before it reaches the markets. It passes through at least four hands before the onions are distributed to retailers in different markets in Metro Manila, Sena said. Sena opposed the move to import onions to address possible shortages in supply. There are speculations about the possible shortage, but the cold storages are still full. The DEA should monitor the prices to prevent a spike in retail prices in October and November when demand is high and supply is low, Sena said, referring to the Department of Agriculture. Sena said DEA should only prepare for possible importation, but not this time. Additional reports from Bella Carriazo. Moving on to the next headline news. Additional sugar import to reduce prices, DAXN. Report from Bella Cariaso to the Philippine Star. A ranking official of the Department of Agriculture assured the public that retail prices of sugar will finally go down after importation of an additional 150,000 metric tons, noting that the arrival of the bulk of 440,000 metric tons of imported sweeteners failed to temper its costs in the country. Agriculture Senior Undersecretary Domingo Panganiban yesterday told reporters that retail prices of sugar are expected to decrease to between 80 to 90 peso per kilo. Based on monitoring of the DA in Metro Manila markets, retail prices of refined sugar range between 86 and 110 per kilo, while sugar between 82 and 90 pesos per kilo, and brown sugar between 78 and 90 peso per kilo. Panganiban said President Marcos met with stakeholders of the sugar sector to announce his decision to approve the importation of an additional 150,000 metric tons of sugar. The president decided to meet the sugar sector for him to announce that we shall be importing 150,000 tons of sugar as our season of harvest will start September 30, 2023, he added. He pointed out that based on the assessment of the Sugar Regulatory Administration, SRA, the country's local production for 2022 to 2023 only reached 1.7 million metric tons, way below the target of 2.2 million metric tons. Everybody's asking about the flooding of sugar in the country today, but that's just artificial because there is a shortage in the country. Our production effort is only about 1.7 million metric tons compared to what we require, which is 2.2 million metric tons, he explained. Pangaliban has awarded ahead of the issuance of the Sugar Order Number 6 in February 2023, the importation of 440,000 metric tons of sugar to all Asian countertrade, 240,000 metric tons, Edison Lee Marketing, 100,000 metric tons, and SND Subten Philippines, 100,000 metric tons. He defended his decision, saying he was acting upon the instructions of Marcos through Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin. We imported 440,000 metric tons simply because it was quite urgent. The country is in dire need of sugar, he said. But the National Federation of Sugarcane Planters urged the SRA to first disclose figures on production, inventory, and projected demand before issuing any sugar order for additional importation. What is our current production? How much is our inventory, including the 440,000 metric importation and other importations? What is our projected consumption? How much is our projected shortfall until the end of the crop year, if there is any? Asked Enrique Rojas, the group's president. Rojas added that these questions have to be answered so that sugar producers can make an informed decision. Panganiban said during the meeting with sugar producers, millers, and traders, it was announced that the bidding for the additional 150,000 metric tons would be open to all qualified sugar importers, and that at least 35 to 40 sugar importers can qualify to join importation. At least selected, although it's an open importation. It has to be selected on the basis of their qualification based on SRA standards, he added. The SRA, he said, is expected to issue a sugar order before the end of the month. Its arrival will be dependent on how fast the importers could ship it, but we need them before September 30, he added. For his part, acting SRA Administrator Pablo Ascona said that of the 440,000 metric tons of imported sugar, 213,000 metric tons arrived in the country and that 134,000 metric tons were already released into the market. On the other hand, Ascona attributed the delay in the sale of sea sugar at Kadiwa stores to the failure of the Bureau of Customs to release the smuggled sweetener to the DA. I was already tasked to following up to the Bureau of Customs, he said. According to Ascona, the SRA will decide if it will continue with the implementation of suggested retail price on sugar once the smuggled sugar is made available at Kadiwa outlets. I think once the Kadiwa sugar is out, we will decide, Ascona said, adding that he expects a small drop in sugar production next year amid possible impact of the El Nino phenomenon. Additional reports from Gilbert Bayora. Moving on to global news. Topping the headlines for our global news, Prince Harry, Meghan in near catastrophic New York car chase. Reports from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. New York, United States. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle were involved in near catastrophic car chase with paparazzi in New York, a spokesman for the couple said Wednesday. But police and even the mayor of New York City, as well as taxi driver, briefly transported the couple, laid down the danger and duration of the reported pursuit. The pair were uninjured in the incident Tuesday night that came almost 26 years after the Paris car crash that killed Harry's mother, Princess Diana, which Harry blames on paparazzi. The episode occurred after Harry, 38, and Meghan, 41, attended an award ceremony in America's financial capital with Meghan's mother, Doria Regler. Last night, the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex and Miss Raglan were involved in a near catastrophic car chase on the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi, the spokesperson said in a statement emailed to AFP. This relentless pursuit, lasting over 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and two NYPD officers, the spokesperson added. A source close to the couple said Meghan and Harry were pursued by half a dozen blacked out vehicles with unidentified people driving recklessly and endangering the convoy and everyone around them. The chase could have been fatal, the source added, claiming a number of possible traffic violations, including driving on the sidewalk, running red lights, and reversing down one-way street were committed. A spokesperson for the New York Police Department said there were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived at their destination and there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard. NYPD spokesman Julian Phillips told AFP. Mother's death. Harry has long had a difficult relationship with the media. He blames press intrusion for causing the death of his mother in a car crash in a Paris tunnel in 1997 while she was being pursued by paparazzi. In a US television interview earlier this year, he recalled seeing the final photos of her and realizing that the last thing she saw before she died was photographers taking her pictures. Harry and Meghan, an American former TV actress, sensationally quit royal family duties in early 2020 and moved from Britain to the United States, in part because of intense media scrutiny. The younger son of King Charles III has been involved in several legal cases against British newspaper publishers since moving to California. Last week, the publisher of the Mirror apologized unreservedly to Harry, who has accused the tabloid of unlawful information gathering. Harry is also pursuing claims against the publisher of The Sun and the publisher of the Daily Mail. Those cases will be decided later this year. Hard to believe. Harry and Meghan departed the Miss Foundation for Women ceremony at the Ziegfeld Ballroom in Midtown Manhattan, where Meghan received an award and were heading towards a private residence when they were pursued. US media reported that the couple got in a taxi outside the police station for part of their journey as they apparently tried to shake off the photographers. Taxi driver Sukhchan Singh told the Washington Post that two vehicles followed them. I never felt like I was in danger. It wasn't like a car chase in a movie. They were quiet and seemed scared, but it's New York. It's safe, he said. Mayor Eric Adams said he found it hard to believe that there was a 2-hour high-speed chase through the Big Apple, but added that even a 10-minute chase is extremely dangerous in New York City. The couple spokesperson said that while being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. Dissemination of these images, given the ways in which they were obtained, encourages a highly intrusive practice that is dangerous to all involved, said the spokesperson. Harry carried out several TV interviews this year to promote his best-selling memoir, Spare, which has broken publishing records. In the book and subsequent interviews, Harry aired a barrage of criticism at other royals, including elder brother Prince William. He claimed William physically attacked him during an argument about Meghan and also detailed his strained relationship with his father, King Charles. Harry attended his father's coronation earlier this month without Meghan, who remained in California with the couple's two children. He was not given a formal role in the ceremony. Harry and Meghan have their own private security team in the US, but lost their UK taxpayer paid protection after they left Britain. They are challenging the move in British courts. Moving on to the next global news. Two bodies found in Chinese fishing vessel crew search. News from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Beijing, China. Two bodies were found Thursday in the search for 39 crew members missing after a Chinese fishing vessel capsized in the Indian Ocean, Beijing state media reported. The ongoing search operation following the capsizing of the Lu Peng Yuan Yu 028 found and salvaged the remains of two victims, Xinhua news agency reported. The Chinese vessel overturned in the early hours of Tuesday, carrying 17 Chinese, 17 Indonesians, and 5 Filipinos. No details were given on the nationalities of the two bodies found on Thursday. The boat capsized within Australia's vast search and rescue region, Beijing's ambassador in Canberra said Thursday, noting it was 5,000 kilometers or 3,100 miles west of Perth, the state capital of Western Australia. Countries are responsible for ensuring search and rescue in determined areas of the world's oceans under an international maritime convention. Australia has sent 3 aeroplanes and 4 ships to help in the international search and rescue efforts, Ambassador Xiao Qian said earlier, urging Canberra to send more aircraft, ships, and personnel to find the vessel. He also requested that the Australian government coordinate with other nations closer to the capsized ship. China was now seeking further help in coordination with Australian defense officials, he said. To this moment, no individual has been found alive, Xiao said. An Australian Maritime Safety Authority, AMSA, spokesperson said Australia was organizing rescue efforts and liaising with Chinese authorities in the search for survivors. Aircraft, including an Australian military plane, were currently scouring a 12,000 square kilometer or 4,600 square miles area south of where the upturned hull had been discovered as part of the multinational effort, the spokesperson said. 7-meter waves. A number of merchant ships and other vessels have been assisting in the search and will continue to do so today. AMSA would like to thank these vessels and their crews for their invaluable assistance, the spokesperson said. The fishing vessel's distress beacon was first detected as Cyclone Fabian drove waves as high as 7 meters or 23 feet and winds as strong as 120 kilometers per hour or 70 miles per hour, 75 miles per hour through the sea. And rough weather conditions have continued to hamper rescue efforts, AMSA said. The Joint Rescue Coordination Center, or JRCC, in Canberra remains hopeful for a successful outcome. However, the time lapse combined with the weather conditions experienced make survival more challenging, they added. Beijing has deployed 2 commercial vessels in the area, the Lupeng Yuan U-018 and the Yuan Fuhai, to help the operation, state broadcaster CCTV reported. Footage aired by CCTV showed mariners on board the boats carrying out search and rescue operations. 2 other foreign merchant ships and 4 fishing boats were also at the scene, CCTV said. Various Chinese government departments were working with their counterparts in Australia, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives to send reinforcements to help with the rescue, CCTV reported. China's Transport Ministry also sent 4 tugboats to Colombo, in Sri Lanka, the closest major port where the rescue vessels will dock for supplies and refueling, CCTV said. Moving on to the next global news. Russia-Ukraine extend grain deal despite fierce fighting. Reports from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Kiev, Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine agreed Wednesday to extend a deal allowing grain exports across the Black Sea, a rare example of cooperation as the war rages in one of Kiev's valuable Patriot anti-missile systems was confirmed to be damaged. The grain deal was welcomed by the United Nations and United States, though both called for more certainty over the exports as Russia has threatened to end the pact, which is crucial to global food security. The agreement came as Ukraine's foreign ministry met China's special envoy in Kiev and insisted that the war-torn country would not accept any peace plan that relied on giving up territory. China, a close ally of Moscow, has not publicly condemned Russia's invasion, and envoy Li Hui sought to promote Beijing-led negotiations to resolve the conflict. In his meeting with Li, Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba stressed Ukraine does not accept any proposals that would involve the loss of its territories or the freezing of the conflict. His ministry said, since Russia invaded, Western arms, mostly from the United States, have poured into Ukraine, including Patriot systems to help shield against relentless missile strikes targeting civilians and infrastructure. One of only two Patriot systems confirmed to be in Ukraine was damaged by an unsuspected projectile landing nearby. US officials confirmed Wednesday, though they said it was still functioning. The Russian defense minister said Tuesday that his forces had struck a Patriot system in Kiev with the Kirkisal hypersonic missile, but the claim was not confirmed. Ukraine's air defenses have played a key role in protecting the country from strikes and preventing Moscow's forces from gaining control of the skies. But as Russia faced increasing setbacks on the ground, it began air attacks that have disrupted electricity, water, and heat to millions of people. Key Ukrainian ports. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, which has a central role in grain deal, announced the two-month extension, saying Russia had agreed not to block ships from leaving two Ukrainian ports. These agreements matter for global food security. Ukrainian and Russian products feed the world, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said. I hope we will reach a comprehensive agreement to improve, expand, and extend the initiative. Russia has repeatedly threatened to pull out of the deal, which was meant to expire on May 18, and again on Wednesday, they announced disparities in how it is implemented. Kiev has accused Russia of effectively still blocking its ships by refusing to register them and conducting lengthy inspections. It's a good thing that the deal has been extended, said U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Unfortunately, Russia continues even in a moment of extension to rhetorically hold it hostage in various ways. On the ground, fighting continued for control of the eastern town of Bakhmut. Ukraine is seeking to take back territory occupied by Russian forces in the wake of the February 2022 invasion and also area and also area seized by Russia in 2014. The battle for Bakhmut has turned into the longest standoff of the war. Ukraine is now saying it is advancing in the area, retaking Russian positions in Bakhmut's suburbs. In a sign of the conflict's toll on Russia's economy, the statistics agency Rosstat said Wednesday that the country's gross domestic product shrank by 1.9% in the first quarter of 2023. The economy was weighed down by another wave of Western sanctions, including a ban by European Union on Russian petroleum products, on top of an oil price cap agreed with the G7 and Australia. And in Iceland, a meeting of European leaders agreed to establish a register of damages to record the destruction wrought by Russia. Created by the 46 Nation Council of Europe, it sets up a record ahead of possible prosecutions of Russian leaders, laying the groundwork for potential compensation. Topping off our global headlines for today, updates on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine says Thursday it had downed nearly an entire barrage of Russian missiles overnight, the latest in an unprecedented wave of aerial attacks on the capital, Kiev. The defense ministry says Russian forces had launched 30 cruise missiles from land, sea, and air, targeting several regions and killing one person in Odessa. The military says its air defense units had destroyed 29 of the cruise missiles and shot down four drones. Updates from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Moving on to our regional headlines. COVID-19 positivity rate in Metro Manila hits 25.9%, reports from John Vic Mateo to the Philippine Star. The percentage of people testing positive for COVID in the National Capital Region slightly increased over the past week, according to the Octa Research Group. Using data from the Department of Health, Octa fellow Guido David said the region's 7-day positivity rate was at 25.9% on May 16, up from 24.9% on May 9. David noted that the indicator, which measures the number of people who test positive out of the total tests conducted, was down from 26.1% on May 15. The numbers in the next few days should indicate where the trend is headed, he said. David said Metro Manila's COVID reproduction number, which indicates the number of people that the positive individual may infect, dropped from 1.72 on May 7 to 1.28 on May 14. The Philippines recorded 1,500 new COVID cases on Wednesday, with 584 posted in Metro Manila alone. Three dead after three hit shanties in Manila. Report by Gio Ong for the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Three persons died and several others were injured after a tree fell on houses along a creek in Manila at dawn yesterday. The fatalities were Edsel Lanciola, 42, Jomar Portillo, 28, and his son, 2-year-old John Mark Portillo. They were pronounced dead at the Jose R. Reyes Memorial Medical Center. The tree collapsed and fell on shanties along Estero de Magdalena, along Recto Avenue, Barangay 294 at past 12:20 a.m., according to a report from the Manila Police District Basic Station. Personnel of the Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office and fire volunteers rushed to the site to rescue the victims who were trapped in collapsed houses. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority sent a crane, a tow truck, and an ambulance to help in the rescue efforts along with the Philippine Red Cross and the Manila City government. Rescue operations for people trapped in the rubble listed for over 7 hours, according to the Bureau of Fire Protection. Reports said at least 5 persons were injured in the incident. Among them were Rinaldo Caparanan and his daughter Caitlin, 13, Alvin Portillo, 32, and Jacqueline Filiorigo, 22. And topping off our regional updates, Mandaluyong Smack Rider Pool illegal, CA affirms. Report from Neil Jason Cervallos to the Philippine Star. The Court of Appeals has upheld its 2021 decision, which declared unconstitutional three ordinances in Mandaluyong City prohibiting men from backriding on motorcycles. In a resolution dated April 26, the CA denied for lack of merit the motion for reconsideration filed by the city government. In 2019, lawyer Dino De Leon took the city government to court after he was fined for violating the ordinance. De Leon filed a complaint before the Mandaluyong Regional Trial Court after he was pulled over for using motorcycle taxi whose driver is not his relative. De Leon won an appeal before CA in 2021 after the ordinance was declared unconstitutional, oppressive, arbitrary, and discriminatory. The CA prohibited the local government from enforcing the ordinances, which is said were discriminatory to gender and to the use of motorcycles as a transportation mode. The ordinances slammed as sexist by commuters, prohibit males from backriding on motorcycles, except if the driver is their first degree family member or if they are 7 to 10 years old. The city government passed the measures in response to gun violence and other crimes perpetrated by motorcycle riding suspects. Moving on to sports. Butler fuels hit in Game 1 win over Celtics. Report from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Los Angeles. Jimmy Butler's 35 points in a scorching third quarter propelled the 8th-seeded Miami Heat to a 123-116 victory over the Celtics on Wednesday, Thursday Manila time, in Game 1 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals in Boston. The Heat erased a 13-point second quarter deficit to snatch home court advantage from the Celtics. outscoring Boston 46-25 in the third period to seize control. Jason Tatum, the 51-point hero of Boston's Game 7 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday, scored 30 points, but he coughed up two crucial turnovers in the final minutes as the Heat turned the defensive screws. Butler added 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 steals. Bama Debayo scored 20 points with 8 rebounds and 5 assists, and Max Struss, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin and Kyle Lowry each scored 15 points for Miami. Just shows the group of guys we have. Butler told broadcaster TNT of the strong, balanced effort. So many different guys step up in so many different ways, night in, night out. We've been doing it all year. Once again, Butler got off to a hot start. His 12 first quarter points, making his seventh game of this playoffs with a double-digit first period. But it was a back and forth battle. Neither team leading by more than 4 points in the first quarter that featured 13 lead changes and ended with the Celtics up to 30-28. Tatum hit it up in the second quarter as the Celtics pushed their lead to as many as 13 points before taking 66-57 lead into the break. Boston outscored Miami 40-16 in the paint in the first half. Marcus Smart keeping their aggressive offense clicking with 10 first half assists, trying his career high for a half. Robert Williams was among four Celtics players to score in double figures before halftime, and his four offensive rebounds helped account for the Boston's 11-2 advantage in second chance points. The Heat responded with a vengeance in the third and led by 12 going to the final game. Bedeviled by 11 first half turnovers, the Heat had just won in third period as they dominated every facet. Did our job. Boston opened the fourth on a 7-0 run and were just four back with 2 minutes 31 seconds remaining. Martin drilled a corner three-pointer off a pass from Butler, and after Tatum was whistled for traveling on back-to-back possessions, Butler drained a three-point dagger that put Miami up by 10 with 1 minute 3 milliseconds to play. Miami made 16 of 31 three-point attempts, while Celtics made just 10 of their 29 from beyond the arc. Jaylen Brown, who scored 22 points for Boston, got a scare early in the fourth when a loose ball scramble saw multiple players hit the court, and he came up grimacing and holding his left forearm. The Celtics will try to level the best of seven series when they host Game 2 on Friday, but Butler said he would be content to leave Boston with a split of the two first games. We did our job tonight, Butler said, but we've got another one to get in 2 days. It's the third time in 4 years that the Heat and Celtics are meeting in the conference finals. Last year, Miami were the top seeds in the East, while this year the Heat shook off an injury-plagued regular season to come through the play-in and grab the 8th seed, knocking off top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Celtics, who edged Miami 4-3 last year, are again seated second as they try to get back to the NBA Finals after failing in the championship series last season to the Golden State Warriors. The series winner will face either the Denver Nuggets or Los Angeles Lakers for the title. And that completes our news roundup for today. Before we end, let's do a shout out first. O si Ate Tet joined us earlier. Kakaaga niyang nag-add pala kanina. Nanood. Good morning, Ate Tet. Si Brother Edwin also is watching. Edwin Evangelista Corpus. Good morning, bro. Si Alvin Sol is also watching. Si Junie is also watching. Maria Junifer is watching. Si RJ is also watching. Good morning, RJ Angeles Maniquis. And si Kagawad Armen Halili is watching. Good morning po sa lahat ng mga nanood. And tomorrow, Saturday, we'll have our regular programming of Pagkasanda sa Buhay. So I hope to see you again tomorrow. Please join me as I host the program together with Brother Eric Cañedo sa aming Magkasanda sa Buhay weekly talk. Maganda po yung topic natin bukas, so please join us tomorrow. Good morning po ulit sa lahat and have a great Friday.